Hi YouTube. I was just playing around with this pencil here. It's called the Nataraj Marble HB, made in India, and this is from some pencils that I received from the folks at the CURIOS. So I thought I would go ahead and talk a little bit about this interesting looking pencil. All right, these are HB pencils. As you can see, it says HB. It has this really cool looking paint pattern here, this design, kind of psychedelic looking in a way, maybe marble-ish. Oh, yeah, marble, okay, duh. And I got a whole bunch of different ones here, and when I mean different, is that the patterns are all different. And I was kind of going through here and trying to see if there was any duplicates in the pattern, and I was not able to find any exact duplicates. Let's see. Nope, I still can't find any exact duplicates. So I'm kind of curious as to whether they're just all unique, because I think I could spend a whole lot of time trying to find two exact pencils, and it just seems to me that quite possibly every single one of these that I have here are unique. I have no duplicates, and so I don't know if a box of these pencils would be the duplicate of another box, because I only have these here. These are the ones I received, and there are no duplicates. They're all these really cool marble design patterns. And again, they're called the Nataraj Marble HB. Now, from playing with them here, as you can see, I've been doing a lot of doodling and writing and so forth. I was testing these things out before I got on the video camera here. Before I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and talk about these online. And they write like an HB pencil, so they're not like a pencil that is, exceptionally dark. They're not like really dark pencils. They don't write light, but they don't write super dark either. They're just, they write like an HB pencil. And as far as smoothness, they're not the smoothest pencils, but at the same time, they're not the coarsest pencils either. It's pretty much a standard. And I'm breaking the little tip here because I have a tendency of making my pencil points really, really sharp using this Cume sharpener here. But if I was to say, if you had a scale, let's say we had a scale, okay? And, it went from, 1 to a scale of 10, okay? So we have this scale here. And this would be like the smoothest, and this here would be like, dog, hard, rough, okay? Where would this particular pencil, this pencil with these marble designs, these white capped ends, made in India, where would they fall in this scale? And so I was trying to determine that, writing down things like yada, yada, yada. And I wrote hello there, and I did some shading. And, you know, I was just kind of goofing around, little goofy nose here, which kind of looks like the first drawing I ever wrote as drawn as a 5-year-old. Did some shading, and I was saying, well, where would this fall in this? Now, I'm going to say that 10 is like Blackwing smooth, because I consider like the Blackwing or very soft drawing pencils, such as, you know, a 4B on up, to be like the softest pencils you can get. Okay, and where would this pencil fall? And I just had this hard time, and I'd have to say that it falls somewhere about, yeah, there. So maybe that's like what, you know, maybe 8, 7.5 to 8. So I'm gonna say, you know, I'm gonna give this like a you know, 7.5. All right, I'm just gonna say 7.5. In other words, you know, an average pencil, like a school pencil that you would get, you know, I don't know, you go down to your local stationery store or whatever, and, you know, those regular old yellow pencils, you know, I say that those fall down in the 5, because we're going to say 5 or 4 is kind of, you know, your average. That would be your average smoothness for an HB pencil. So I'm going to say this is above average, okay? But it's not like real smooth like a Blackwing or these B pencils that you use for drawing. But it's not average. I would say it's above average because it does write smooth. And I mean, I could write with this thing for hours on end, and it wouldn't grate on my nerves or anything. But I think these pencils in particular, with these really pretty pattern, these white cap ends, I believe that these pencils are great, you know, for school. I think these would be great school pencils. And that's how, you know, I'm basically going to rate these pencils. Now, I received a whole bunch of these here. And that, again, it came in this package. You know, you've seen in my previous videos from these folks at the CURIOS. And you can go down in the description area where it will tell you where to find them. Because they not only offer these pencils, but they offer, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. Which, by the way, if I was to... let me zoom out here so you can see, because I'm really zoomed in. And, you know, they've sent me all these, and I'm going to be covering these in future videos. I'm kind of spacing them out a little bit. But they offer all kinds of things, so you definitely want to go check out their website. But these pencils here, they do not come pre-sharpened, okay? I sharpened a couple of them because I was playing with them, and I wanted to get a feel for them, and I did that all off camera. But I think these paint jobs are pretty cool, and I think young people will definitely enjoy that. Maybe even older persons, I don't know. And I think that they write really good for an HB pencil. So that's great for school. You know, I mean, you can use them in the office, wherever you want to use an HB pencil. Well, now that we've talked a little bit about the scale of smoothness, where it falls somewhere around the 7.58 area there, from 1 to 10. The next thing we need to do is we need to take a look at where it falls in tonal quality. That is, you know, how dark it is. Now, it looks like a standard HB pencil to me, where it's not like the darkest pencil, but it's not like the lightest pencil. So it would seem to me that it would be, you know, right there in the middle where it belongs for a standard, you know, school type pencil, HB pencil. But let's go ahead and put it through the MB grading system, where I'll use the Mitsubishi Hayuni art set here to see if it compares to the HB or if it falls a little bit below it or above it. Okay, so we're going to do that next. And of course, as always, I'm going to start off with a well-sharpened pencil. So let's just move that over and let's sharpen this before I start doing the old blending thing. Okay, there we go. move that out of the way, and as always, I like to give you the close-up. Now, there is one thing I did want to point out here that I hadn't pointed out before, but when I was sharpening this, I had noticed that the wood, you know, has these little holes in them like this, and that's why I had sharpened two pencils, because I wanted to know whether that just happened to have been one pencil that had this, you know, kind of wood, and the others maybe had the solid type. But it turns out that they all seem to have, at least these two that I've sharpened, if I can get that to focus, that would be like really good. But you see those little specks there? If you sharpen the pencil, you'll be able to see right through those. Those are like little holes. So the wood that is being used in this pencils here may not be of the highest grade, but you know, as a school pencil, that's fine. That's not a big deal. It holds the lead just fine. It sharpens just fine. There's no resistance in the sharpener or whatever. I just happened to notice that it was a little bit different than what I normally see. You know, because you can see these little holes in the thing. You can see right through them. See, you can see right through those little holes there. So, you know, if you compare that to say another type of pencil where it's more solid, like this one right here, you don't see through it. That's from a different pencil. So anyway, I thought I'd mention that as well, so that you know, it's not, you know, it's not your standard wood there. I'm not quite sure what kind of wood was used here, but it may not be the most expensive wood that could have been used, but it does the job. So anyway, I'm going to move these out of the way here, and we're going to go ahead and start with the blending here, the test. Okay, here goes. All right, so that would be the Nataraj. And by the way, if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, please feel free to make a comment down below letting me know how to pronounce it correctly. No one has ever corrected me on this. I've done several videos now on pencils from Nataraj, and I've been calling it Nataraj, and so I'm assuming, okay, that must be correct, but I would think the odds would be against it, since I don't know how to speak the language that is common in India, which I'm not even sure I know what the language is called. I don't want to say Indian, because that may not be the name of a language. So anyway, you might even want to tell me what the language is, or if there's more than one language, then I guess that was a pretty dumb question on my part, and I apologize. All right, so this is a Nataraj Marble HB pencil. All right, next, let me go grab the 2B out of, or the HB out of here, and that would be this yuppie right there. Can we zoom in? All right, good. And it's already sharpened, as you can see. So now I'm going to start doing this one. All right, well, this HB is already starting out to look like it's lighter. So that's good news for those of you who like darker HB pencils, because as you can see so far, that is darker than this. But you know, I got to make sure that I saturate it. I'm I'm going to do one pass, like, you know, or shouldn't say one pass, but I'm going to saturate it as much as I can in this direction here. Of course, it's vertical that I'm moving, but you know what I mean. And then, now that it doesn't seem to be changing anymore, it's not getting any darker, then I go and I turn this thing around and I'll go in this direction. And the reason for this is to thoroughly saturate the paper fibers to do the best comparison that I possibly can between two or more pencils. And you can go back and forth as many times as you want, because there's a point where it just isn't going to get any darker no matter what you do. You can just do this all night long and nothing's going to happen, so you know that it's saturated. And so here I don't see any discernible changes in the darkness, so I pretty much saturated that way. Now I'm going to go and do it diagonally. You just get it from all angles, and see, now I can see it's getting a little darker because now we're coming at it from a different direction. And I'm always holding the pencil at the very back so I can let the pencil do the drawing. Now I'm hoping that I don't lose power here. We have a serious thunderstorm going on outside right now. You might be able to hear the thunder. You may even see some lightning here through my window, because the window is open right there. I like to see the storm, so I leave the window open. Even though there's no sun, it's pretty dark out there right now for, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so that looks pretty saturated that way too. And then diagonally this way. I tell you, one of my favorite times to be in the office is when the weather is really nasty outside. It just makes being indoors feel that much more cozy, you might say. And I can get a lot more work done in my office when it's thundering out there, assuming though that we don't lose power, because everything I do in my office here requires power. The computers, my drawing table, everything. So no power is kind of a bummer, can't do anything. But with power, I can get a lot of work done, make videos, do all kinds of stuff, because I don't really want to be outside doing any of my outdoor projects because of the weather. All right. Now that has been thoroughly saturated, and this is the Mitsubishi. I'm just going to go MB, and this is the HB pencil. All right. And I think you can pretty much tell that the Nataraj HB appears to have a darker tone than the HB from Mitsubishi Hayuni. And we could also compare that using the light box, but in this case it's not so close that that it would be necessary to use a light box. It's clear that this is saturating a much more darker tone than the HB pencil. So I think it's time that we step up the game here, just out of curiosity, and let's take it to a B level. So I'm going to pull out a B pencil here, and it needs some sharpening, so I'm going to give it a little better of a point. Just needs a point. It's already got enough of the core showing. There we go. So let's try this out, the B, and see if how it compares to the B pencil. So I'll zoom in just a little bit there so you can see that. right, doesn't look like I'm going to be able to saturate that anymore. Now let's get a really close up on this, and I think you should be able to see what I am seeing right off the bat. Okay, this is the B pencil here. This is the HB, and then this is the Nataraj Marble HB, which, as you know, is the pencil that I am reviewing. And here's some good news, okay? The good news is, as we know, that the Nataraj is a slightly softer pencil, and thus it is a slightly darker pencil than the standard HB. So this is definitely, while it says HB, you're really going to get a darker tone than a standard HB. However, it is not as dark as a B. The B, you can see, has got really a much darker tone to it than the HB from Nataraj. So the Nataraj no doubt falls somewhere in the middle here between a standard HB and a B. So it is definitely like an HB plus in that it has a lot more depth of tone than a standard HB school pencil would have, for example. So there you have it. It is definitely a smooth pencil, because we also know that it is definitely a darker pencil than a standard HB. So that is definitely a plus, and that's pretty much normal that I've noticed with pencils of this brand name. So I hope you liked this review here of the Nataraj Marble HB made in India. And if so, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate the likes. It encourages others to watch my videos, and of course that helps support the channel. Right here's a subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, please join the group. I put out videos all the time. I appreciate you all being here. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. I can't believe that just last year when I started this, that 1 year later we would be hitting 10,000 subscribers. So I appreciate your comments. I appreciate the likes, the subscriptions, and I'll see you next time, probably as we get to that 10,000 mark. Who knows? Thank you, and I'll see you next time.